Hey everyone, welcome back to Toasty TCG. So today I'm going to be talking about what I believe are the top 10 super rares and commons from Rise of the Duelist. So before I get into this list, I just want to have a few honorable mentions because I really couldn't make my mind up on these ones. So to start off real quick, we got Fluffle Dolphin, Frightfur Cruel Whale, Drill Driver Vespanado, Fury of Kirushin, Raid Raptor, Revolution Falcon, Air Raid, Infernoble Knight Captain Roland, Infernoble Knight Stolfo, and Infernoble Knight Ogier. So now that we got those out of the way, let's get into my top 10 list. So to start off at number 10, we have Junk Sleep. So this card is actually really cool for flip decks like Ghost Tricks, Guru Control, and my favorite flip deck is Crawlers. So this card, it just lets you flip all your face-down monsters if your opponent summons a monster. And then also at the end of the turn, it also lets you book your entire field, which is always super helpful because it just means that you're able to reuse your flip effects every single turn. You get to flip them all on your opponent's turn if they're not already flipped during your turn. And then you also get to just rebook your entire board and then do the whole thing all over again. Really cool card. I definitely want to play this in Crawlers, which is pretty, like I said, my favorite flip deck. Next up is Red Time Reviver Emitter. This is a fairy tuner effect monster that lets you special summon itself from either your hand or your graveyard by flipping two face-up monsters, one on each side of the field, into face-down defense position to special summon this card, but it does get banished when it leaves the field. Now what's really cool about this effect is you can use this in flip decks, but you can also use this in a deck such as Eldritch where you have trap monsters, because if you flip a trap monster face down, it now becomes a face down trap card, so it returns to your spell and trap card zone, letting you reuse it on the next turn. So it also has a lot of utility being a tuner, because once you special summon that tuner, you know, if you have another face up monster on the field, you can start doing Palpa Fibrax combos. So this card just has a lot of cool utility, it lets you do a few different things with it. Definitely a card worth checking out. Next up, we have Nemesis Keystone. So this one has the same summon condition as all the other Nemesis monsters, where you shuffle back your banished monster to special summon it, but it also has this really useful second effect that during the end phase, if it's currently banished and was banished this turn, you get to add it back to your hand. Now, this is really cool because one, it's free extender material, you can just banish it, and then summon whatever you're trying to summon, like Block Dragon. And two, getting a free card back in your hand every single turn is just always a good thing to have. So it may just be a little bit slow because you have to wait until the end phase, but usually if you're using this for a card like Block Dragon and getting this card back every turn, it's going to stack up very quickly where you're just getting this free resource every single time you use it. And then at number 7 is the third Fluffle/Frightfur card that's been in this video, but I believe it's the best one out of the three. We've got Edge Imp Scythe. Now the reason that I chose Edge Imp Scythe over Dolphin and Cruel Whale in this top 10 list is it has a quick effect that lets you fusion summon on your opponent's turn. The reason that this quick effect is so important is because of the new Frightfur monster that I previously mentioned, Cruel Whale, who has the effect that when it's fusion summoned, you get to destroy one monster on each player's field. So, unfortunately, that's not a quick effect, and most Frightfur monsters don't have quick effects, but if you summon the Frightfur Whale on either player's turn, you're always going to get that destroy one card effect. So if you use your Edge Imp Scythe and summon the Whale on your opponent's turn, you're going to be able to disrupt their plays, destroy one of their monsters, maybe mid-combo or something like that, and just set them back a good decent amount. So that's why I chose Edge Imp over the Dolphin and the Cruel Whale itself. And then coming in at number 6, we've got the Heavenly Dragon Circle. Now, Heavenly Dragon Circle is a quick play spell that lets you tribute a worm monster to add a worm from your deck to your hand. So it's a very generic, like, Rhoda card for worms. The only downside is having to tribute a worm, so it's technically a neg-1, but if you tributed a non-effect monster to use this effect, you get to special summon that monster instead, so that makes it very versatile in Tenyi, where you can tribute, say, the Monk of the Tenyi, and then you get to summon a Mare from your deck unfortunately the effects of it are negated, but you can usually get that Mare into the graveyard and using another Tenyi monster or another Worm monster, make a Shaman of the Tenyi, discard a card, and get Mare back from your graveyard. So it's just another way to set up those Mare plays in Tenyi, and once you get Mare on the board and start doing all the effects of that and just popping off, the deck can make some really powerful boards. That's not the only effect of Heavenly Dragon Circle either. It also says that during your main phase, if you control a non-effect monster, you get to banish this card from your grave, and then you get to search a Tenyi monster. Now, the downside to this card is you can only use one effect or the other, so that is a bit of a harsh trade-off. Sometimes you might want to discard Circle just so you get that banish effect, or even play Foolish Burial Goods and just send it straight from the deck to the graveyard. Now, coming in at the midway point at number 5, we've got Raid Raptor Arsenal Falcon. Now, I already mentioned the other Raid Raptor monster, the Air Raid, but this one is a good chunk better than Air Raid. The reason being is it's just very generic. It's only 2 level 7 monsters, and then it also has the effect that once per turn you can detach material, and then special summon any level 4 Winged Beast monster from your deck. You're not even locked into Raid Raptors through that effect. You just get any Winged Beast that you want, and then it can also gain additional attacks if there's a Raid Raptor attached to it as material. And then finally, it says this card is sent to the grave while it has Raid Raptors attached as material. You get to special summon a Raid Raptor XC from your extra deck, except for Arsenal Falcon, and then attach Arsenal Falcon to that monster. Meaning, if they get rid of the Arsenal Falcon, you get to special summon an Ultimate Falcon from your extra deck for free, and everyone knows how difficult an Ultimate Falcon is to get off the board. So this effect just has several very powerful effects, gains additional attacks, gets free monsters, and summons the best monster in the archetype for free. Then coming in at number 4, we have the quick play spell, Blizzard. This card is very interesting and has been under a lot of discussion. It reads that you can target one face-up spell your opponent controls, negate its effects for the turn, and then if it is to go from the field to the grave, it's added to their hand instead. So this card is a little less generic than your average back row hate. Like, it's not like a Cosmic Cyclone or Twin Twisters, but it does deal with spell cards that those cards don't deal with. So, say for example, you activate a hand trap, your opponent flips Called by the Grave, you can chain Blizzard, negating the Called by the Grave, and then ensures that your hand trap goes through, negating something else as well. So this card is very interesting. I haven't seen anyone try it out yet, but definitely know what you guys think about Blizzard in the comments below. Personally, I feel like it's going to have a format in the future where it's going to be very, very utilized. Maybe this current format isn't the format for Blizzard, but I definitely see this card having a lot of potential. And now we're in the top 3 with Megalith Full. This card is incredible. I actually wasn't going to choose it for this list previously until I found out that it had been used in a Megalith deck to top the most recent LCS in the 3v3 LCS. And when I say that this card is incredible, I really mean it is incredible. So it has the standard Megalith summon condition of just using any Megalith card to ritual summon it, and then when it is ritual summoned, it gets to copy the level of a Megalith in the graveyard, and also add that monster from your graveyard back to your hand. Now what really pushes this card over the edge is its effect to ritual summon a Megalith from your hand, or your deck, by tributing monsters from your hand or field, whose total level equals or exceeds that level of the ritual monster. So you can summon your Megalith Full, who is a level 2 at first, so super easy to get out, then copy the level of pretty much the highest Megalith monster in your grave, and then use Full's second effect to ritual summon any Megalith from your deck. This effect is absolutely incredible. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Infernoble Knight Olivier. Now previously I had mentioned 3 other Infernoble Knights, one of them being very similar to Olivier called Ogier, and I want to do a quick side-by-side comparison of these 2 cards. So they both have a protection effect when they're equipped to a warrior monster, Ogier prevents the monster from being destroyed by card effects, while Oliver protects the monster from being targeted by card effects. And keep in mind that they both have the effect to equip themselves from the grave to a warrior monster once per turn. Now, where these two cards start to differ is Ogier has the effect that when it's summoned, you get to dump a Fire Warrior from your deck to the grave, or a Noble Arm card from the deck to the grave. Now, what this card really does is it sets up things like your Infernal Knight Renaud's effect, the Astolfo, or the Magus, but that's not overly impactful, whereas the effect of Infernal Knight Olivier is a free extender, where you can banish a Fire Warrior monster or equip spell, and then you get to special summon Olivier, so you get that free extender, meaning if something gets stopped very early on, you can still special summon your Olivier, who is also a tuner. So that means if you're in a weird situation where, say, your Isolde gets stopped, you can now summon your Olivier, and then you can still make a Helka Fibrax, and you can keep your combos going. This card is just an overall better extender, and its effect just does a significant amount more than Ogier will do in the long run. Now, finally, coming in at number 1, if you haven't guessed it already, is Dogmatica Punishment. This card is really excellent trap card. It lets you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, send a monster with equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the grave, and if you do, you get to destroy that monster. Now, what makes this really cool is it doesn't specify any kind of archetype or anything, so you can send any extra deck monster. You can send Cyframe Lord Omega to the grave. You can send Herald of the Arclight to the grave. You can send Elder Entity Natis. Your options are completely limitless. Whatever you have in your extra deck is what you can send to the graveyard. The only downside to Dogmatica Punishment is you cannot special summon from your extra deck until your next end phase, which is completely fine for some decks that don't use their extra deck, or they just want to dump cards from their extra deck to the grave to get their effects, such as, like I mentioned before, Herald of the Arclight. It only has 600 attack, but sometimes you can get that 600 attack to pop something and search a free ritual monster or spell card. You can also be running Dogmatica Punishment in a Dogmatica-themed deck, where you send the Titaniclad Ashen Dragon, and then that card has another effect in the end phase, letting you search or special summon a Dragma from your main deck. So that means you can pop a monster under 2500 attack by sending Titaniclad, and then in the end phase special summon Ecclesia, get Ecclesia's effect, and it just spirals downward from there. This card is very powerful. Being able to send straight from the extra deck to the grave has not been done before, except with the Extra Foolish Burial, which requires half of your life points. So this is easily the best common super rare card in the set, in my personal opinion. But guys, that's about it. Let me know what you think of this list. Is there any cards that you would change on the list, or maybe move where I place them? Let me know in the comments below. And also, right above the comments below, you can find a whole bunch of links to my other social media, such as the Toasty TCG Facebook page, the TCG Network Discord, and our TCG Player affiliate link, which if you use it, it costs you no additional money when you shop on TCG Player, and it actually helps this channel directly, so make sure to check those things out. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Toasty TCG signing out.